Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Blues. Again, John, Dave and myself going to look back over Leinster's narrow defeat against Montpellier last weekend, all the other European action as well. So boys, 22-16 we went down, but we went down fighting in the last minute.
It was a loss, but it felt like a win, in a way. I thought we played very, very well. I mean, you looked at it and you thought, oh, especially because we got a last minute try, and you look and you think, oh, well, Leinster must have been quite well beaten and then screen. But that's not really how the game went.
Depends which side of you're on though. I mean, if you're a Montpellier fan,
I'd
say you're going, how the hell did we not hammer them?
But the other side of that is, I mean, we shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times. I mean, obviously the most obvious example was Jamie's try. It was a straight intercept. But there were other mistakes made for tries. The referee, the yellow card decision, which I'm sure we'll talk about. I mean, there were incidents in that game that were that affected the scoreline negatively for Leinster, but didn't actually reflect how Leinster played in the match. I mean, our defence was very, very good. If you look at the stats for the second half, possession and territory. I mean, we have 80% possession or something in the second half, or 80% territory in the second half. It was ridiculous. And the tackle stats as well. They had to make so many tackles compared to us. So all that considered, you think, oh well, then Leinster should have done better. But I don't know. I'm just happy enough that we got the losing bonus point, to be honest with you, because at one point it looked like we weren't going to get anything. We certainly deserved something, and then at the end we got something. Yeah,
well, sitting in the stand, it was quite obvious, especially defensive rooks. They had nobody in them, nobody at all. In the whole of the first half, we just couldn't break them down. Well, obviously we didn't break them down at all from a try-scoring point of view until the very last minute. And that was, I think, because they tired and they just left a couple of bodies, because we really burst at them with Levy, and I'm sure we'll watch the try at some stage.
We should have scored about 5-10 minutes before that.
Try. We were very unlucky. Like, there was a few incidents. Luke McGrath was nearly away at one point, and just a guy got his leg and he just slowed him down slightly. And if he'd have got it one more step, he would have been through. Ringrose was nearly through. There was a few times where we just. The whole game, we didn't have the rub of the green, whether it was with the refs' decisions, whether it was with
our own
decision making. But we didn't play the referee well, John. I mean, they were consistently hands in the ruck, slowing the ball down, coming round offside. The referee chose to ignore it. If the referee is choosing to ignore it,
you do it too.
You do it too, and we didn't.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, whatever about a ref's competence, I don't think anyone would ever suggest that most of the refs are biased in any way, shape, or form. So if he's going to let one side away with offside, he's going to let the other side away with offside, but you don't take advantage of it. We didn't help ourselves in the rucks. We didn't commit a whole lot of bodies at the rucks. I mean, it's something that Leinster are doing now. We're doing that New Zealand thing where, that hot and cold rucks where we either won't go near a ruck or suddenly we just pile everyone into the ruck to win a turnover.
But they won't. They weren't. I was behind the goal and you could see them fanning out every defensive ruck situation. There was just no space. None. And they are huge. Even their full back is like 6'4" and built like a brick shit house. And that's for that guy in the wing, Landolo. He was running towards me with that Rob Kearney try, and I just felt so sorry for Rob Kearney, because with a head of steam, I know you're probably going to give out about his attempt at a tackle, which was lame. Like, I'm not going to disagree with you, but would you tackle that guy?
No. No.
He could have made an awful lot of a better attempt. He was going to fail in the tackle, but at least he could have died trying.
As Luke Fitzgerald said in the commentary on the telly, like, Rob Kearney went at his legs, and he's not going to knock him down on his legs. He's too powerful.
He's not going to knock him down from above because he's too powerful.
He says he's go for midriff. Luke Fitzgerald is roughly the same build as Rob Kearney, do you know what I mean? And they're professional rugby players. They tackle big lads like this all the time.
That's true. Well, there were a few incidents I just felt where the look didn't go our way. Whether it was a ref, whether it was we knocking on the ball at the wrong time, or just somebody just not making it past a certain point. It was just we didn't get the rub of the green. I don't mean in terms of favouritism from the ref. I just mean in terms of
general look.
But
we
kept at it.
That's the important thing. Stop hitting the table. You look at you're annoying our listener. If you
sorry, Jeffrey.
If you look at their second try, the intercept. No, that was the third try.
Third try.
That's right. The intercept. That's a 14-point swing, because if Kirchner's away, there's nobody, because Landolo is committed himself entirely to the intercept.
And with hindsight, with him committing to the intercept, if Jamie had a dummy, you know.
Oh yeah.
But you know,
the idea was right. The execution was what was willing. But that was the thing. But then, I mean, at the end of the day, we did what kind of we said you have to do against French teams. You know, live with them for an hour and hope they run out of steam, and they did run out of steam to a certain extent.
We hung in. We hung in with true grit. In fairness,
and we were able to bring in guys off the bench who made a genuine difference.
Yeah,
which is
that's what I was going to ask you, was the decision to pick Sexton and O'Brien the right one, because, well, first of all, Sexton didn't look fit. He was not taking the kicks, and Siva was taking the kicks. They pulled both of them off after the first half, presumably to manage them back into the Leinster setup, because they weren't adding enough to the team. When Carby came on, he made a huge difference.
Carby did make a difference. Sexton was, you could see when he was kicking, he made one kick to touch there where he made like 10 yards. So his hammer isn't 100%, but apparently what's wrong with him is not serious, but it just wasn't right in the day. It wasn't right last week. So luckily we have Joey Carby there to take over from Sean O'Brien. That's his first senior rugby, if you want to look at it that way, since February.
Yeah, 9 months.
So he was never going to play. And we also had two flankers on the
I think it was it was flagged that he was only going to play 40 minutes anyway. So
he was never going to play any more than that.
Selection flagged it.
Yeah, Sexton, you know, if on a better day where his injury had just taken a slightly different turn, he might have played longer. But, you know, hey, people are construing it as this is Team Ireland orders, or, you know, maybe there's an element of that, but, you know, I think that's the reason they went. I think O'Brien was always going to go off, and Sexton was obviously not 100%.
I thought it was interesting today in the fitness report that Leinster issued today, the press release, and it was Sean O'Brien played 40 minutes. He's available for selection on thing. So and so got an injury, but he's okay. He's available for selection on Saturday. Such and such got an injury on Saturday, but he's okay. He'd be available for selection on Saturday. Johnny Sexton was brought up after 40 minutes, but he's okay.
Well, he's never going to be available, considering we're playing the All Blacks.
The 6-1 News.
Dennis O'Brien isn't paying all that money for Johnny to play for Leinster.
Well, hang on the 6-1 News, it was actually Sean O'Brien was giving a press conference. He said that he's in great shape physically and he's back to full fitness. Just needs a bit of game time under him. And it was actually Lancaster that said it at the Leinster press conference that Johnny Sexton will be available for Ireland.
There you go.
That's what he said. That's the way they phrased it.
Well, in fairness, a year ago we were going, if we only had a fit Cian Healy and a fit Sean O'Brien, well, what have we got now? A fit, and Cian Healy is really starting to now.
I think he's playing
really well. He was all over Yanni Duplessis as far as I could see anyway. Well, they held parity a lot of the time, but he certainly wasn't.
That's to give a lot of kudos to the scrum. We held like they.
Even when Michael Bent came on, we held and indeed imposed.
And you could see that the pitch was rubbish.
Yeah.
Any bit of pressure, the turf was just giving. And both, like at one stage, the scrum went down, but the ball was held in between their loose head props' legs for maybe 10-15 seconds, and then it just collapsed. But like neither scrum had they both had parity, and neither of them had an advantage at all.
Well, I think that the thing I always say, if you attack a French team where it thinks it's strongest, it does upset them, and it did upset them that they didn't get an advantage in the scrum.
Yeah, well, they are monsters. Like that Villemse guy, Jesus Christ, he just. The whole team you're looking at, okay, some of them are normal sized, but most of them, and your man went into the back row, the other second row, the other Duplessis went into the back row at one stage, you know, and he's, what is he, 6'7", and I don't know how many stone, I don't know his stats, but he's huge, he's frightening looking, and our team isn't small, like we were pretty big, we were bigger than Cast I think last week.
But one thing that sort of obviously didn't help us was when Rob got sin binned for for standing his ground, which seemed very harsh. And it's I think Owen McDermott raises the question on Facebook.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions on Facebook around refereeing. And Owen McDermott on Facebook asked, he said some of the refereeing decisions we've seen this year is all involving the TMO actually, and he specifically mentions Ringrose's knock on where he blocked down a kick, Rob Kearney's sin bin, and the Australian try last Saturday, very controversial try. I don't know if you've seen it.
Didn't see it.
For me, obviously the ringrose knock on was farcical. It wasn't a knock on, it was a block down kick. As far as I'm concerned, the Kearney sin binning isn't that far behind it in terms of farce. The thing that people are, there's nothing in the laws of rugby that says you have to get out of somebody's way. You're not allowed to deliberately get into somebody's way, but you don't have to get out of their way. There's nothing that says you have to do that.
But he was nearly going to give a penalty try.
Yeah,
so it just depended, and he actually mentioned that the defender was coming across, so it wasn't automatically going to be.
Here's the thing: it's not just the ref. You've got two guys, and it shows that there's a serious issue here because in the game against Edinburgh, you had the TMO and the ref in accord on, just a ridiculous thing. And on this you had the TMO and the ref on accord. Now, you've seen the Spate disallowed try?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, my opinion is that it should have been disallowed because, and the question Nigel asked the TMO was, did he alter his line? And that's how it's described in the guideline. Yeah. If a player alters his line to get in another player's way. Now, would Savea have made Spate? Maybe not. I would say that the chances is 80% he wouldn't have made him to get the tackle. But he didn't have the opportunity, and that's
the point.
That's the law. Now you can see it yourself. Maybe you'll disagree with me. From my point of view, is he altered his line, and that's the key thing. Well, so you have a situation where you've got big decisions happening, and certainly in two of them, a combination of the TMO and the referee.
But it's happening an awful lot in rugby that the referees are changing the course of the match by their interpretations. It's just happened in the last 10. I mean, up to 10 years ago, no one really knew the names of the referees. They just got on and refed it. Now they become personalities, and it's like, oh no, we've got your man this weekend. Or we've got, do you know what I mean?
I think the issue is not so much that they become personalities. It's just that we're familiar with how a ref referees a match now, and we know that certain refs will referee a game in a way that we will find entertaining or enjoyable, or will favour our team, not because they favour our team, just because their style of refereeing is compatible with the way our team plays. And I'm not saying Leinster, I mean all our teams. So it's not so much that their personalities; it's their refereeing personality that we're familiar with.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things, right? One, it depends on what question gets asked. It's a bit like try or no try, or is there any reason I can't award a try? If the referee takes the lead and says, well, I think it's a yellow card, or I'm giving a yellow card and a penalty, I'm not giving a penalty try because you're putting the TMO under pressure to say, well, I've either got to step up, criticise the referee publicly and say, no, you're dreaming, mate.
It doesn't happen very often.
Exactly.
Well, there are ways of doing it. I've seen TMOs and they actually tend to be quite senior figures. Guys like Carlo Damasco or Derek Bevan.
They're guys that have a load of international experience who are retired.
Bevan's had a few howlers lately.
Oh, he's had a few howlers, but they have a way of doing it with a ref that say, I think you should take another look at that one.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the way they're
more
saying
often
it.
than not, they tend to go. The referee will say, "I don't see any reason why that can't be a try." Oh yes, I agree with you there, Dave.
Yeah. Well,
but there will be an element of presenting a joint front. I agree with that.
That's exactly it. So if the ref had said, "Well, what do you think?" And not let it.
I can just imagine the mass confusion. What me?
Well, okay, that's a stupid way of putting it, but if he'd been less decisive, shall we say, and allowed the guy a bit of leeway, he might have just said, well, look, the guy didn't alter his line. It looked to me in the ground when I saw the replay that he might have just jumped up into his chest a bit with his shoulder, but on watching it on the television, he didn't. He actually didn't. He's turned away, if anything.
There's only one player who
alters his line. The man made a meal of it, though.
There's only one player who alters his line, and that's Michelle. Actually should have been a penalty the other way.
Well, don't know about that, but I thought it was walk away.
Well, it could have been a catastrophic decision. As it turned out, we kind of got what we would have probably were hoping for at the end, or before the match kicked off, was a losing bonus point away from home and denying them. So why don't we have a look at East?
Just one more question, because we're talking about refereeing, and we had another one from John Malloy, who also contacted us on Facebook and asked about our opinion on the current interpretation of wheeling. And he's thinking specifically of the pen that Montpellier won early in the second half. It seemed Montpellier couldn't take the pressure off the tight head side, and yet managed to get 3 points for it. And I agree with him. I didn't think that was a penalty for. I didn't think it was much more than a reset, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought Montpellier were having serious trouble on that side of the scrum. which was something to be very pleased for Leinster to be. I mean, there's a couple of games now in the balance where our pack has been pretty dominant.
We stood up very well against Cast.
Yeah.
But just on that point, I think that there's coming down from TV, whether it's from TV companies or whether it's from the IRB, they want to reduce massively the amount of scrums, and anyone who makes, rather than have a reset a penalty, just get it out of the way. Because even at the start of the season, there was a match. I think it might have been an Ulster match. I think the first thing they had on us was the scrum clock.
Yeah,
you know, and it was like, Jesus, are they trying to subliminally put a little message out there?
Well, I know they have changed a lot on wheeling in as well. Again, just to speed up the game, I think. But for example, that pitch was in tatters, and I was there on the morning. It was lashing all morning. It was really lashing. So on a pitch like that, with that amount of rain in it, you're going to imagine there's going to be a lot of knock-ons, therefore a lot of scrums. There weren't actually that many scrums in the game if you look at it. I don't know the stats on it, but it appeared to me like there weren't that many scrums considering how bad the pitch was and how bad the weather was. So there's somebody in there. I think there's a couple of things that have been given as lineouts or penalties or whatever just to move the game on.
Yeah, poor Peter Braggan would be raging.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, why don't we have a look at Isa's try, who kind of got us out of jail?
Oh, he certainly did. It was a very good try. But I mean, it's just another example of the excellence of Isa, really, isn't it?
Broke the theme tune,
actually,
sang the theme tune, drove the bus.
Dan Levy was superb when he came on. Absolutely superb.
He was only out for 3 minutes, but it seemed like more.
It was 3 minutes of quality.
It was.
Well, it was consistent pressure for the last 10 minutes.
Well, these guys, you can see these guys are having real problems at this stage.
They're knackers. You can see there's an overlap there, but
they can't cover it.
And you can also see that there's a few of them in the defensive ruck, a couple of times in those phases, which hadn't happened. So there had to be, there
in fairness, great spot from two players there. Great spot.
But before that, the guy who took the ball through the middle of the ruck, he spotted that there was no defenders there, and he made 3 or 4 metres going straight through the middle of the ruck to set up the subsequent ruck for the pass out from
Isa knew the benefit of getting in for his own kick that was to follow, and he literally just made it by a few inches.
But that just shows the absolute class.
Right in front of me.
Oh, the super intelligence.
That he knew just not to dive there.
Yep.
And he knew the significance that try was worthless to us unless we got the
Isa doesn't see the world in colours. Isa sees the world like the Matrix. So it's just all these ones and zeros and numbers and a green kind of, a green screen thing. That's how Isa sees a rugby pitch.
Okay.
Well, I mean, his mind on a pitch is just incredible. I mean, the intellect for that.
Because a lot of fellas would have just gone.
Flopped over the line.
Yeah. And expected their teammates to go, yeah, well done, buddy.
And even had the presence of mind to have a little word with Carberry, relax.
Yeah, slow it down, run the game out.
Take the 2 minutes for the kick, or we'll take 2 minutes for the kick, and
chill out.
Tickety boo.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we got a losing bonus point from a game in which, we made an awful lot of mistakes away from home against the team who may be our biggest rivals in this group.
But these are the matches that win you the Heineken Cup.
Yes.
Going back to our glory days, it's when we got a losing bonus point in Claremont, say.
Yeah.
In December 2011, it was it's scraping those points. When we mightn't have played brilliantly, we made tons of mistakes, and yet we've still come out with something. And as a result, we're now
top of the group.
Yeah.
After the two matches, and
all to play for.
I mean, we're top of the group, all our internationals away, and we always come back strong. We're always good in December.
No.
We always when we're good in December. So I mean, I have a feeling that we're going to have a good December this year because I think
that brings me on to Northampton, who we do play in December. They were stuffed by Cast. I'm very surprised at that result. They conceded 5 tries. I think it was their heaviest ever defeat in Europe.
That's right. Yeah.
Hold
on. How was it? Because we beat them in Europe 46-6 or something.
Well, they were beating 47-7.
Okay, I didn't realise it was quite that big.
Oh, it was huge. It was a walloping.
So that
defeat
defeat throws a real cat amongst the pigeons, especially. And if you actually go back to Montpellier, like Montpellier, they concede, like they had the winning of the game in Franklin's Gardens. They completely blew it.
Yeah.
Letting Northampton in. They had the beating of that match, of our match, without us getting anything out of it, and they blew it in the last minute.
They could have had a fourth try.
And it wouldn't have been. They had an extra man advantage for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If they had been using their winger more, he would have been, making twice the amount of yards that he did.
But you look at how Championship or European Championship rugby is played, right? We took 5-0 against Castres, 4-1 against Montpellier. Now, are Castres going to 5-0 us over there? Very, very unlikely. So we're up on that one. I mean, I can see us doing a 4-0 against Montpellier here at least. So we'll be up on that one. And then it comes down to this too. I mean, it's all about how the advantage you get in the back-to-backs in each one, and that's what puts you on top of the group.
That's true.
So and then the two French clubs play each other at
twice.
Christmas.
Yeah.
So one of those is going to be out. Like as it stands, they both won a game each. So like if one of them might knock the other one out and make their interest might wane in it. As I said before, I think Castres get a big.
There's
stipend.
They have a stipend dependent on being in the top 14. Yeah.
So it's quite in their interest to make sure that they are, and by come the end of January, middle of January, they'll pretty much see where the lie of the land is within their league campaign. If they're anyway out of the top 6, they'll be kind of thinking.
Now who needs this European malarkey anyway?
Exactly, when they have a bursary coming in of 10 mil.
They're Frexit.
Obviously, we can't let the show go by without talking about the incredible scenes at Thomond Park from Munsters. Not just the whole thing with Foley and how they managed to stay focused. I know that they can play for Anthony and all that kind of thing, but they must have been just emotionally exhausted.
Yeah.
And the way that they came out and beat Glasgow, who were a bloody good team. And would probably
good form too.
Exactly, and Glasgow have beaten us in Glasgow. They've beaten Leicester Tigers last weekend.
Last week, yeah.
So they have ambitions themselves, and yet they were absolutely steamrolled. It reminded me of the quarter-final match that they beat. Munster beat the Ospreys.
It just shows you
that we ended up playing them in the semi-final.
6 tries, I think they had that.
It just shows you the fine margins, I think, in professional sport. I often say that there's only 1 or 2% at the top. That divides, glory from ignominy, and the togetherness in Munster that if you like, the gestalt that was generated because of what happened, gave them that extra 2% to really, really put one over on Glasgow. Because
they sold out the game, I think.
Because if you look at it, I mean,
that's got to help.
Munster finished 6th last year, 6th wasn't it, in the Pro 12.
Yeah.
Glasgow we won and have been
scraped in
and have been a 6th place team for the last 2 years.
Haven't got out of the group in Europe in 2 years.
And Glasgow are at top of the Pro 12 team for that, but you wouldn't know that looking at it. So you wouldn't. Glasgow looked like the team who'd be scraping into Europe, and Munster looked like the team that were in their full pomp. It'd be interesting to see now, because the whole Anthony Foley thing won't carry them any further.
Well,
but the confidence taken from the win might carry them through.
And Leicester and Racing game
no great
was
shakes.
fairly pedestrian.
I was fairly turgid stuff.
One thing, when I was watching it, I thought to myself, Foley has given absolutely everything to Munster, and even he died working for them over in Paris. And how fitting that it is that the stadium was sold out, and perhaps it might be the turning fortunes. I'm not saying it's going to improve their performances on the pitch, but it might reinvigorate some of the support that has been waning over the last number of years. And you saw, the amount of the outpouring of grief for a lot of people within rugby, but particularly down in Munster. They might get a little bit more behind their team rather than just expecting to go down to the south of France and win European Cups down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be interesting to see because I mean, I think Munster, Razzie Rasmus is a clever guy. Munster organisation are clever guys. They know that they can't lean on the Foley.
But even if Razzie said that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But what they can do is they can learn. They can show to look. You can actually play like this. This is how you can play. You might have that extra 1 or 2% of adrenaline that you had the last day, which in the case of Keith Earls mightn't be that bad. I think.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised it wasn't more than him sent off, because I'm sure they must have been just Red Bull to the rag, or to the red rag to the bull. But like we mentioned before,
Red Bull to the rag sounds like a Russell Carroll Kelly job. But go on.
But like we mentioned before about them having a limited number of world class players, sort of Sander, Murray, O'Mahony perhaps.
They still see fit to ignore the talent that is Tomas O'Leary.
Well, he's gone, isn't he?
Yeah. But he came out against us.
Not against us the other day.
They're out half.
Blandale.
Sorry. He put in a fantastic shift, and for the first time I've seen from a Munster out half since O'Gara's
controlled the game.
Played the way a Munster pack wants to play.
He actually he's the first out half since O'Gara who actually looked like he knows the geography of the ground, if you know what I mean. O'Gara, with his eyes closed, could find that touchline, one bouncing in, and
not like Frank Stein.
Keatley could never really do that. Yeah, Keatley could never really do that. He looked good sometimes, but not consistently. And the question is, of course, let's not get carried away. It's one game.
Yes.
Blandale has looked a bit Jeremy Manning over the course of his career.
He played 5 games with him last season.
Exactly, yeah. So he was always injured, like Jeremy Manning.
Well, he's had some nearly career-threatening injuries. Like, fellas get injured. Like, you could say the same thing.
He's not going to do much good to Munster, though.
Well, no, but give him some time.
Oh yeah,
we've got a guy, Sean O'Brien, that if he had signed for Toulon 2 years ago, I'm sure their owner wouldn't have been too impressed.
We got him back cheap.
Well, I think he's played less than 25% of the games.
He's played considerably less than that, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway, one of the other results was, now it's quite foregone conclusion anyway, was Zebre got hammered by Connacht. But the result means that they are top of the league, Leinster top of the league, and Munster top of the league. But Connacht's one is an odd one, because the draw between Wasps and Toulouse really kind of gives them a very good opportunity to get out of that group.
It really does.
There's 2 teams coming out of that group, pretty much guaranteed, because they've got Zebre in there.
Exactly, and they're on 9 points, and Toulouse are on 3 points.
Well, I'm not so sure that because of the draw, that might kibosh the whole 2 teams coming out of the thing, maybe a little bit. But certainly, I still see Connacht coming out on top in that group. They were able to pick a fairly.
Well, I think Wasp might actually come out on top.
I think Wasp are the form team in that group.
I still have a fancy for Connacht.
I like the way our positions have reversed on Connacht in the last few months.
Connacht were able to pick a fairly young team, give some guys some experience against Zebre. Because Connacht kind of had a bit of revenge in mind for Zebre anyway after what happened in the game that was banned. And then your man got a bit chompy, which didn't help.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be seeing a rugby pitch for quite a while.
Probably just should have eaten more before the game. But anyway,
I'd say he'll get the rest.
But like with the 15 cameras that are on focused on that one run.
And it wasn't even like, oh, he put his hand in my mouth job. It was like it was a chomp.
Yeah, and it was like 45 metres away from the goal line. You know what I mean? It wasn't going to make any difference.
It was beyond stupid.
Well, the good news for them is they've re-signed good old Bundy. For 3 years, which is pretty incredible. Which means
he's there for 6. That means
he's going to have is it 6 or 5?
Well, he's on a 3-year deal, and he's going to sign.
Oh, sorry, this is his 3rd season. So he is going to be 6 years, and that's great because I'm sure he could have doubled his cash by going to France. So it's obviously a family decision, and he's obviously settled well there.
I still hold the opinion that for Connacht, France wasn't the threat. That Munster or indeed Leinster were the threat.
Well, Ulton Demand is from Munster.
Yeah, he decided. That's the great thing, because I think that the real money in rugby is international rugby. If you're a player, Bundy Aki, if he's playing for France, how many billboards would he be in New Zealand because he plays for Tarbes? As an Irish international, he's box office even back home.
He's bankable here. He's become a cult hero.
Absolutely, it's great for Connacht that they're like having lost Robbie Henshaw to us, having lost Ali Muldowney to Grenoble,
Rodney Camerier
now. to Ulster. They just looked like it was a little bit more kind of getting into the hind tit again. So to see these guys getting, staying where they're, and they're really good players. Delan is, as we said today, he's 22 years of age.
It's ridiculous.
Good Jesus! Like for a second row, he could have 15 years in him.
Yeah.
And at least 2 of them are going to be for Connacht. So.
But it is a great coup for Connacht, as you say. But it's also a good fill-me up for Irish rugby, because
absolutely,
there's so many times you read in the paper and only hear negative stories from the Irish press, and it was a nearly foregone conclusion that Bundy actually was leaving. It was
even some of the reporting in the Irish Times on Leinster's result in France. I mean, you'd think that we'd lost, been beaten, been man-shamed, and then soiled ourselves in our beds, like the way it was being reported by certain journalists.
Yeah, I know you're referring to, and I just don't understand it. Like we were second best in the first half. That's undoubtable, but it wasn't from lack of effort. We didn't, maybe we didn't play the referee smart enough. Maybe we did. There's a couple of maybes in there, but there's no way we were lashed out with our shame.
Rule number 1, you win your home games. Rule number 2, you try and get a point.
Anything you get away from home. And I guarantee you, the same Luderman 10 years ago about Munster would have written the story as, how pride and passion carried them to a losing bonus point. They barely deserved, but for their guts.
But there was plenty.
He was.
But Munster have played tens of matches down in the south of France and done exactly that.
Yeah,
have come away with a losing bonus point and possibly have snatched it at the last play of the game. And it would have been all about what a fantastic result, shows great resilience, guts, determination, pride, blah, 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 to get that point. Leinster showed the same. It should be a bit of kudos back to them as well, but we know that it's not going to get it from the Irish media. So the other bit of good news, of course, is Joe Schmidt re-signing for Ireland for another 3 years. That'll bring up to the end of the World Cup in Japan.
Long enough to maybe select Bundy Eki.
Well, you never know. But I was looking at his stats. He's played 35, or coached Ireland 35 matches, and they've won 23, which is 67% win ratio. He won 2 championships, beaten South Africa down in South Africa. Came within 25 seconds of beating the All Blacks in the Aviva Stadium.
He's the most successful Irish coach of all time.
I think he must be statistically.
Eddie O'Sullivan was up at 66%, or around that figure, in terms of win ratio.
Until?
Over his career. I think that was near enough to what his figure was. So if Joe Schmidt is 67, and he has the championships, which O'Sullivan was never fortunate enough to get. So certainly most successful. I think that he's obviously, for me anyway, the last World Cup was a big disappointment to him. And I think
the Argentina match.
Yeah, I think he's keen to right that wrong.
Everything else went all right. Just the Argentina match.
That's all that matters.
Of course.
So the other Irish province was Ulster. They had a fortuitous victory over Exeter. Ping pong. They were leading. Then Stinson got a drop goal to put them into the lead. Then the following play, Jackson slotted his, and Stinson had a final chance last minute and slotted wide.
And blew it by only an inch or two. Well, it wasn't much in it, a few inches, foot maybe. Ulster are playing muck though. That was a bit of a cripple fight, which is probably not a PC word to use, but it was who can outshit the other one, and Exeter just won the shitness competition and lost the match.
It was interesting in the commentary, Charles Piutau, they actually mentioned it. We haven't heard much from him today, but when they did, he kind of, like he said, it is a brilliant little run that kind of set up for Jackson's drop goal. So just need to get him the ball more often.
Oh yeah, he's like far and away the most talented back they have, and they've got a lot of talented backs.
Yeah, the problem is they don't have any talent, or very few talented forwards.
We've been saying it every week.
If they could have a guy who could his job is just to get him the ball. Yeah, they'd be fine.
A few more carriers. If they could lend them Cian Healy and Sean O'Brien, they'd be fine.
Yeah. There's happy bollocks.
I just went through all of the results over the last 2 rounds, and the Irish teams have won 71% of their matches. France, obviously there's more teams from France in it, but they've won 54%. And Scotland, Wales and England have only won 50% of their games. Of course, the other one being Italy. There's only one Italian team in it, of
What about
course.
Russia?
European Championship.
Right.
But the Italian Zebre have conceded 120 points in their 2 matches. You know, people saying, well, it's not really a European Cup without the Italian team in it, but you would have to raise a question mark about whether
You would.
somebody like Ospreys aren't in it and Zebre are in it, and Zebre are not putting up much resistance.
Well, I suppose it's back to the old question about whether it's a European competition or a 3 leagues competition. If it's a nations competition, then yes, of course, Italian team should be in. But you know, that was the whole battle that was fought and lost several years ago, where you know it's now become a 3 leagues. So if we're gonna stick true to the 3 leagues thing, which maybe does not do European rugby a huge amount of good, but if you want the best teams in it, you gotta not select an Italian team.
But then it's not
That's
too Welsh.
coming 10.
But it's not too Welsh rugby much good. If there's only one team in it.
Italy aren't in it out of charity. Italy are in it so that Wales will be in it. Because Wales don't want to face a situation where if it was the straight top 6, where somebody was able to outspend them, you had 4 Irish provinces and 2 Scottish provinces and no Welsh team was in it. Wales need we all, not just Wales, we all need protectionism.
Well, Wales had a team in the top 6, in fairness.
And if you were just to draw a line under,
But they don't want to
if you were to draw a line under the
where they don't have a team.
if you were to draw a line under the Pro 12 right now, there'd be 2 Welsh teams in the top 6. There'd be 1 Scottish and 3 Irish. So that's the way it would. If you were just to put the top 6 of the league in.
Who was 7th? Was it Ospreys?
Scarlets.
No,
Sixth are Cardiff. Ospreys are currently 3rd.
Oh, currently you mean? Yeah, I meant at the end of
I know,
the season.
I'm not sure I don't have those in front of me, but if we were to draw a line under the 5 or 6 rounds of Pro 12 now, you would have 2 Welsh, 1 Scottish and 2 Irish.
4 Irish? 3 Irish? Yeah, 3 Irish at the moment, yeah.
None of the big 3 unions would be happy with a situation where well, it can't happen to Ireland, but it could happen to it could happen to Ireland. It can't happen really to Scotland, but where none of their team, or it could happen to anybody. Sorry, what am I talking about? None of the big 3 unions want to be in a situation where they don't have any representation in the European Cup. In order to do that, they have to have this quid pro quo where they guarantee.
Gets in as well.
Yeah, and that's just as simple as it is. I mean, the IRFU does not want a situation where it's faced with where the top Irish team finishes 7th. Or the Wales don't want a situation where the top Welsh team finishes 7th and Scotland, etc.
Interesting anyway, boys. Listen, we will pick it up in the second half where we look forward to our game against Connacht and all the other Pro 12 stuff. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.